Good evening, everybody. The Old Wolf here. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, December 28, 2021, coming at you live from Rochester, New York. Rochester. Another episode of The Witch and Wolf Wisdom. Tonight's podcast is going to be a Fireside trivia chat. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, festive Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah.
Is that what you say? Festive Kwanzaa?
Festive Yule. Listen, whatever works. I believe in the context that, whatever your framework is, especially when we're talking about a holiday spirit.
Yeah, if somebody wishes me anything, I am thankful that they thought of me enough to wish me whatever the fucking holiday that they are enjoying and sharing with.
So I hope everybody had a great holiday out there. Pam, how you doing? Thank you, everybody, for your support all year. Again, this is going to also be a trivia night. We're going to be giving away points towards the trivia contest throughout the evening. For those of you who don't know, and we're going to throw it out there again just for the shits and giggles. This has been the December trivia contest. Basically, all you have to do, there's no cost, there's no obligation. You just have to be a subscriber to the YouTube channel. Oh shit, that must be something bad going on. You gotta turn this goddamn phone off. But anyway, contest is running for about another couple days till the end of the year.
Yep.
You're gonna do
some points.
You're gonna do another mail-in trivia tomorrow night on your podcast, and then perhaps we're even going to do some. We talked about New Year's Eve.
We're going to have some extra trivia.
So we will be throwing some extra points out there for everybody involved.
That will still be everybody's game, even though we have two people who are duking it out. We're going to have enough trivia to have.
We'll get to that in a little while. But the contest rules again are simple. You got to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Wednesdays will be the mail-in trivia questions. Tonight, the trivia questions you can answer in the chat, and it's a real simple system. The first answer that comes up on the chat gets the points. All trivia tonight will be worth 3 points.
3 points.
Okay, but we will be doing trivia throughout the evening. Now, granted, I know some of you are going to be setting up that extra browser window with either that Google or that Bling thing or Bing or whatever the fuck it is, which is cool. Now, here's the beautiful thing.
I don't think it's cool. If it's the Microsoft thing.
Listen, knowledge is power.
I stopped thinking Microsoft was cool when they took Clippy away.
Well, that's a conversation for another time, as they say. But yes, in the simplest context, those people that already know it will be able to get their answers in quicker than somebody who's going to have to type in a search, get the answer, then type it back in here. So, a little bit of trade-off. But that way everybody can participate, again. Honor system, I'm not going to begrudge people using Google and all that stuff. Have fun with it. That's really the context here. Enjoy it, get some points.
Great way to freak the kids out is tell them, hey, I'm older than Google.
Well, wasn't going to play it quite like that, but hey.
That's fun to freak the kids out.
Some of us just age like a good wine or a scotch. We just become more flavorful.
Once you've been stomped on enough, sure.
Well, I guess that's the analogy with grapes. Grapes just get crushed.
Grapes gotta get stomped on, dude.
Beaten. Drained of all their existence to finally collect their essence.
Stomped on and left to ferment.
That's kind of horrible if you really think about that.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if you were a grape. That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, all wine is murdered grapes.
Could it be the start of a new movement?
Me Too grapes?
Well, I mean, like PETA does the animal things. Like, who's looking out for grapes?
The winos.
Well, I mean, hey, listen,
I don't think that's quite the look.
No, I mean, who's advocating?
Who's advocating?
Who's out there?
Well, I know the people who like wine are advocating for their wine.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a segment of our population that's just going to be like,
nobody's advocating for the poor grapes.
They're going to be like, fuck you, you ain't taking my grapes away.
Right.
But hey, anything is possible. Hey, Carolyn, the calm, the storm, and peace after.
That would be
Destiny, Chris, Ashley, everybody, thank you again for joining us. And again, really, we appreciate all the support here in 2021, getting ready to crash into 2022.
Going straight ahead.
We got some funky shit going on out there.
Remember, every year I do my year ahead spread on my live. So we're back. The year ahead spread has begun.
So yes.
So if you want to get the year look ahead, that is available now and will be available tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Ooh.
Get a view of the year ahead.
Yes, well, I mean, again, you do a lot of things. You know,
yes.
We have, obviously, here, your Mentorship Circle.
Oh, yes.
Which has become a really intense place of learning and place of community.
Yes.
Too, I have to really be honest.
Welcome,
Sonia. Yeah, feel free to hang out, interact. Tonight is a kind of a fireside chat where we just kind of bullshit, talk about whatever the fuck's going on. Yes, there's bad language, so if you are offended, I do apologize. My intent is not to offend. However, I come from the George Carlin School of Communication, which simply means...
Grow a thicker skin.
No, well, listen, you know, I don't begrudge anybody, you know, their taste or their feelings and stuff like that. But we have a beautiful concept, and it's called... freedom of choice.
And it's called flavor.
And if I do, you know, if I do offend, some people don't like the tenor of my voice. I get it. You know, listen, it's not personal. There's a lot of other stuff out there. I hope, you know, you find something fun to interact with. But outside of that, you are welcome to hang. Everybody is welcome. We do not discriminate unless you're a fucking Nazi. And if you're a Nazi, then
Scientology.
It's gonna be a different party. No, I want some Scientologists to come in and hang out. It would create some interesting dialogue. But that's just me. Hey, Liz, how you doing out there? So yeah, you know, listen, those people that know me know that I walk a different path. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I believe in a core philosophy, you know, strength in numbers. And within that, our knowledge, our stories, our experiences, they're all knowledge. They have bits and pieces of this and that. Maybe it doesn't make sense to this person, but, you know, to somebody else, it could be everything. And that is the beauty of our interactions.
True.
Is that you never know to what degree it's going to apply. You know, sometimes, again, as you always like to say, you know, a duck is just a fucking duck.
As I like to say, I thought that was your phrase.
Well, you know, I mean, again, you've been saying it more than me. No, is the Mentorship Circle on Facebook or on YouTube? Desperate for some community.
It's on Facebook, dear.
Yes, it is on Facebook.
So go to ladyshiya.com and click on the Mentorship Circle, and it'll allow you to join it. And we've got community there. It is a $25 a month, but we also include in there our current practical magic workshop every month, and a lot of learning and modules.
Do different types of workshops for everything from Reiki to spell casting. We do also empath workshops where, you know, we get into everything from, you know, trauma triggers to argument dialogue, which is always really an interesting one because...
Well, we're not afraid of that sort of thing.
Well, here's the thing. That's usually when shit goes sideways. You know, when our emotions become so inflamed, aka we're in a deep argument, you know what I mean? All bets are off.
Yeah.
You know, it is a chaotic mix at best. Now, is it 100%? No, there is no such thing as 100% because there's always that variable dynamic of the other person. Unless, of course, you're arguing with yourself, which again is just another interesting conversation.
Probable. I mean,
sleep traumas. Listen, there are so many different levels, and anybody who's followed me at all knows that I am very outspoken about my distaste and distrust of our current mental health systems and practices.
Outspoken about anything, really?
Yeah, well,
I'm shocked.
But it is, in my opinion and in my experience, very unfortunate. We treat people, again, like numbers. Most of our systems are designed and framed around that. Much of the individual elements are lost, if they're even communicable, because that's half the problem. Everybody knows communication breakdown is a real thing.
It truly is.
And it isn't about right or wrong. It's about perceptions. It's about translations. But it's also about, and it's a big thing that we have talked about and we will continue to talk about, empathy. The ability to understand, to be able to not only feel, but to actually put that into a direct practical application. The comm says, she's a healer. We're both healers as well, too, hon. Welcome to the Good Vibe Tribe.
That's Flash.
That's Flash, okay.
Yes.
Jesus, Flash.
She changes her name every week.
She's doing that persona dance.
Yeah.
I like that, though. That's good. Listen, here's the beautiful thing. We can always reinvent ourselves.
Yeah, it was kind of funny on Monday. Shauna took a little while to figure out that was Flash. And it's like, she's like, who the fuck are you? Who's this lady that's talking to me?
Here's an interesting segue into context of conversation. We all wear masks. To the degree that we can be open and honest about them will vary from person to person situation. Layers. Mm-hmm. Get out of my swamp.
Exactly.
That's right.
I like being in your swamp.
Wolves are like swamps and onions. We have deep layers and methane gas.
Apparently, yes.
Shiya can tell you about that one.
Oh, yeah. But see, witches don't fart. We cast smells.
Oh, really? You had to play that card.
I had to play
You just
the
had
card.
to fucking play that card.
You brought up
unbelievable.
Methane gas.
Cheeky witch.
Yeah, brought up the methane gas. I mean, you expect me to not do this?
Unbelievable. But one of the other things that Shiya does have going is private video readings.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of times people can't make it to the lives.
Or they have a sensitive question.
Right, sometimes some things are not meant for public consumption.
Sensitive questions that people have been doing their video readings on, and it's just like, holy, yeah, I can see why you didn't want that on the live.
Yeah, no, listen, I get it, It's like, hello, 911? I think I shit myself. Should I do some shadow work on this? I don't know. I'm kind of embarrassed. Those kind of moments. They're not always, meant for everybody to know.
But one of the cool things about the video reading is that you can ask a series of questions on the same subject. Instead of just asking one question, I've had somebody came up with 10 questions on the same subject, listed them all out. Sure enough, we ripped them all out on the video reading. There you go.
But in all seriousness, there are elements of things that, for whatever reason, and this is, again, where empathy really comes into play. It doesn't matter if we understand or like or agree. Part of true empathy, at least, my opinion, my belief, is letting people express themselves and accepting it.
I know. I tried to change that. I actually had that old account there, and I just changed the name on it, and it's not.
Oh, all right. I was freaking out. No. I was like, hey, it's not Monday.
No, that's me over here.
I
literally changed that old account that's been sitting there forever. And I changed it over to
for those of you who don't know.
That's my late husband's.
Yes. All of a sudden, I'm doing my podcast, and my current girlfriend's dead husband shows up on the YouTube channel.
No,
that makes for interesting, context.
Not only that, but I changed it to have a profile picture of us with a Christmas tree. The one that we took, and it didn't change.
So anyway, hey Diana, how's it going down there in your world? Yes, listen, again, perspective,
right.
I tend to...
Yeah, I can remove the...
I tend to use a little bit sometimes of what some people would call dark humor. Again, I am from the George Carlin School of Communication.
See, I changed it there, and there's our profile picture, but it hasn't
again,
changed yet.
I have no idea in regards to what other little technical spaz out you happen to be wrapped up in.
Yeah, you're
causing distraction. What the? Oh, wow. Anyway.
I mean, we all spaz in this house.
As discussed, yes. She does have private video readings. You can see there. Go to ladyshiya.com. Feel free, to just shoot her an email. You usually can within 24, 48 hours, right?
Yeah, well, not only 24. I only put the 48 thingy up there. Simply in case we happen to be on gaming day or it's a holiday or some shit.
We actually do. We make it a point that one day a week is a family day, that we interact, we game,
We've been having fun with a new game Layla.
Yes, Gloomhaven.
Yes, very much fun. Very much fun. So, but yeah, the family that games together stays together, as you say.
Yes, yes. And Diana, I completely sympathize with you. I lived down on the Jersey Shore for a number of years, and we went through it every summer. I am not a born New Yorker, but, you know, situations and elements, job, etc., brought me up here several years ago. But like anything, it's that perspective, that context. I know Florida has now become a magnet, especially this time of year. You know what I mean? Most people don't like being fucking cold. Here's your simple truth. They want to go someplace warm. They want to go someplace where they think, hey, let's have fun.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't blame them.
And yeah, Elspeth, I know all about it, so I'll poke Melanie with a stick and see if she needs some help.
Side conversation. Trigger. Elspeth alert.
Driving's become very familiar with New Yorkers driving SUVs and Tonka trucks like New Yorkers.
Honey, I have found over the years that shitty drivers exist everywhere.
They really do.
Like, I mean, you know, if you're down like in the tri-state, New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey area, go dance in a Wawa parking lot.
Oh my God, I did not believe you on the Wawa parking lot thing. They're like, no, Wawa parking lot's a whole nother thing. I'm like, I've driven in Walmart parking lots. I can do this parking lot thing. In the Walmart parking lot, and they're like, watch out. I'm like, oh my God, they weren't kidding. It's like taking your life in your own hands. But the coffee's worth it.
Oh, the Wawa coffee is great.
Yes, that was a wonderful
But the parking lots are,
yes,
you know, an adventure into insanity.
Yeah,
and yet, listen, you know, as the calm stated, love is always better than abuse.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Well, you know, somebody once said, all you need is love. And for tonight's first trivia question, whoever answers, who said all you need is love? Go for it. 3 points coming up. First person to put the answer into the chat gets it. Love,
no one can
love,
drive in the
love.
Northwest, yeah. That's true.
I mean, this is about as a slow, underhanded curveball. Well, Ash is close, but I'm looking for a particular Beatles. Elspeth is close. Somebody, come on. December 8th.
Said it. The name.
Come
of
on.
the person.
I got a hole in my pocket. Everybody's dancing around it. Who's gonna get it first? Chris gets it.
Chris Cole.
Chris
Yay!
Cole for 3 points. Yes.
Chris Cole.
John
for 3
Lennon.
points.
All you need is love. And we will be doing many more trivias through the evening. It's just going to be chat and trivia tonight, a little bit of music, but mostly that. Speaking of the contest, I suppose this is as good a time as any to, you know, pop this out. Here are the contest stats. And here going into the last week, Ash Buck,
oh my God, they are
who was
so
the week 4 winner
is also,
as well,
yes,
is at 34 points, and Michelle Myers, who is literally breathing down her neck,
like
with
fiercely.
33 points.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, again, we're gonna be giving out mucho more points.
Yeah, so it can
over
be
the next couple of days. So even though it seems like these two have it hand in hand, there are still a few people, you know, Diana and stuff like that, you know, she could, you know, easily get, you know, 20, 30 points over the next, you know, 2 or 3 days. So anybody that wants to get in on it, these are the standings as of today. Now again, Chris Cole just got on the board with
3 points.
3 points. So,
yes.
Hey.
So what is everybody doing for New Year's? I want to know. I mean, do you guys have specific New Year's traditions or specific things that you're planning on doing this year as opposed to anything else? What you doing for New Year's?
The witch wants to know.
I know, I'm curious. I always like being the voyeur.
Well, she wants to look in your window and say what you're doing.
I can do that with tarot cards. That's the cool thing about being psychic. If I want to know, I can just ask. TV and
Oh, yeah,
dinner.
nice.
Maybe
You know,
fireworks
simple,
by the
little
beach.
fireworks, TV and dinner.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah, things are a little bit freaky out here in the New York area. Like, again, not to get into the whole COVID dance and stuff like that, but, you know, it's just
we're doing,
fucking numbers are just blowing up again. And listen, thank God, this particular run doesn't seem to be as severe, but I know a lot of people that, you know, are sick again.
My fear with this particular run, if we're going to go there, is not necessarily the amount of deaths that's going to come, but the long-term effects from people.
Yes.
Some people will be having.
Yes.
So.
And hey, Angela, how you doing tonight?
What we can do to be safe. You know, if you feel like getting the jab, highly recommend it.
Yeah,
if
listen.
you don't feel like getting the jab, then do what you can to stay safe.
Absolutely. But we will be staying in. We will be doing a live here, I think.
Yes.
You know, it is definitive.
And we're gonna have grazing food.
Yes, we're gonna do little finger foods and little munchy things, and you know, have fun as a family.
Exactly.
You know, celebrate the shitstorm of a year with. Well, here's the thing. All right, 2022, and here's our next trivia question: who predicted that in 2022? That the Earth would be hit by a fireball.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yep. Next trivia for 3 points. Who predicted that in 2022 the Earth would be hit by a quote-unquote fireball?
Yeah, they've got a new Netflix show about that too, I think.
Nah,
not about that particular thing.
Not about that particular thing.
But about a modern day meteor impact.
Yeah, well, you know.
This is a fireball specifically.
Well, this again is in the
Elspeth
context.
says they hand money to everyone a quarter, so you start the new year with financial gain and then a kiss for love. I like that. Hey, Jan.
Jan, welcome. So yes, the next trivia question for 3 points is: who predicted that in 2022 the Earth would be hit by a fireball? Dun 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 dun. Elspeth. Thank you, darling.
Elspeth
It is
gets it.
Nostradamus. Yes, this is one of Nostradamus's. Yeah, no, listen, I can't fucking spell either. That's why I do the podcast. I can speak. Forget about fucking trying to get me to spell half the shit that I'm talking about. Would be like, but I can speak Klingon.
Today is a good day to die.
See, that's not fucking Klingon.
No.
Get the
But
fuck
it
out of
sounds
here.
Klingon-ish.
Get out of here.
Because that's what they say.
Yeah, well, yeah, they do, but it
But
wasn't
that's
in
what they're
Klingon.
speaking in common. No,
But we
I don't
digress.
do it in Klingon.
Yes, we have started watching old Deep Space Nine episodes for all the cool Klingon stuff. Yes, sometimes when I tried Speaker Think, it is a convoluted clusterfuck. Not unlike two hobos fucking in a shoe full of piss. And for our next trivia,
Oh, Jesus.
where does that particular little quote come from? Two hobos fucking in a shoe full of piss.
Hey,
Josh,
Jesse.
brother, how you doing? Yeah, I'm just going to be giving away fucking trivia points all night.
This is going to be fun.
Little segues into interesting conversation. So yes, for another 3 points, first correct answer on the board. Where did this quote come from? Two hobos fucking in a shoe full of piss. Ash, that was a good guess. Hobo with a shotgun? No.
Nope.
Nah.
Okay, Jan.
Yeah, we're going to go down the freaky deaky fourth wall break kind of. Ah!
That was a big hint.
Yes. Oh, Jesus. We got like the YouTube hackers just
I don't understand.
dancing. We're becoming popular. No, it is not George Carlin. That was a good guess, though, too.
Yeah, because, I mean, piss is something he would say.
Yes. Yeah, well, that was actually very...
There
Diana!
you go. Yeah.
Diana catches
Diana
another
got
3
it.
points. It is
So.
indeed Deadpool.
Yeah.
I fucking love
The
Deadpool.
second he said fourth wall break, he gave it away.
Yeah, well, you know.
Because Deadpool is known for the fourth wall break.
Yes. Deadpool's an incredibly iconic character.
He really is.
You know, he really... And again, for those of you who maybe give a shit or don't give a shit, but here's a little bit of, comics insight. Comics, as they evolved, a lot of the readers, as they grew up, obviously started gravitating into a little bit more adult elements.
Yeah, I think.
So within that scope, Deadpool kind of bridged
those two worlds.
The kid element and made it more like, oh, we're not kids anymore.
Yeah.
This is fucked up.
Yeah.
Let me show you how fucked up it really is. And,
but
it wrapped it with comedy. Granted, there was some gratuitous violence and dismemberment and hobos fucking in shoes full of piss.
And of course the unicorn.
A lot of ball fondling, kind of, pseudo, not sure if we're really in the closet
kind of moments.
Well, I mean, again, anybody who's watched, either of those movies.
The ring lollipop out of his ass to propose to his girlfriend. I mean, that was just like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, and listen, but think about that. I mean, if you're going to pop the question, as they say.
Oh my God! Did you really just go there?
Well, listen.
You just went there.
What says love more than a fucking ring pop jammed in an uncomfortable spot just for that right moment to say, I love you.
I can think of a million more romantic moments than a ring pop.
Balls in hole?
No.
No?
No?
No? Well, hey,
Okay.
Maybe next time.
I mean, Josh, I think, thinks it's romantic. But hey, that's Josh. Cherry-flavored asshole.
Cherry-flavored asshole. Well,
there you go. I mean, it's better than, I suppose, than vanilla.
But I mean, hey, listen, there's that segue into Suzanne's favorite element of artificial vanilla. Jeanette's like, no ring pop for her. No, thank you.
Pop. Jan says no to the ring pop. See, I say no.
Listen,
to the ring pop.
I remember a point in time, and this is how the world, sometimes things get overblown, and a particular little moment will just get amplified, not unlike how World Star and some of the internet aspects are. I made, the Dave Chappelle off-reference joke about, you bring in a situation, you call 911, you're in trouble, help, I shit myself. These horrible moments now can be framed and enjoyed by the whole world. But also on the other side of the coin, there are, to some degree, a little bit of learning experiences that can be had.
Josh is telling me to hush.
Well,
Make me.
But that's part. I mean, listen, humor is a beautiful thing, even when it's a darker, more steamy kind of humor. You're like,
not unlike two hobos fucking.
Well, no, that would be. We don't want to keep pounding on the hobos.
The hobos are keeping pounding.
But for tonight's next, hey, Lee, how you doing, hon?
Leah, how you doing?
For our next 3 points, the next trivia question: what iconic movie references? And here is the quote: would you like a chocolate-covered pretzel? Yes.
I cannot think of that one. I know I should know
now,
this.
here's the framework, and I will give a little bit of setting into it. This is my hand, jammed deep up your ass. Would you like a chocolate-covered pretzel?
Okay.
Dun, 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 dun. Yes, another obscure, off-the-wall kind of, hey, where the fuck is that from? Ash! Oh, look, Ash and Diana both were just like, yep, they made the click on that. But Ash got it, 3 points. Well, no. Very well.
Ash was Ash was 4 seconds quicker than you, Diana. That's how fucking serious Ash is about this. Ash wants, and I mean, listen, again, it's all fun and good, but the whole, chasing Amy, Mallrats, Clerks.
She wants that custom sweatshirt, and that is the grand prize for the contest. Will be a custom, one-of-a-kind sweatshirt done by none other than my brother, Tattoo Tony Rodriguez. It will be designed with the winner, so that way it's not just going to be like, hey, here's a picture that we decided. Hey, no, we're actually going to work with you in the design of the custom sweatshirt. So that way it will truly represent
you.
A special element. Well, that's part of the concept here.
So
you know,
can
was
I
it
do
to
a
be?
trivia?
Can you do a trivia?
Yes.
Well, I guess. Do I really have a choice?
Yes.
Okay. Well, sure. Go ahead. What the fuck?
Instead of wanting to know where this is from, I want to know the next line after this. Okay, the next line. So somebody says this, and then there's one person who asks a question after this line. All right? That's my obscure trivia.
Well,
so here it is.
I'll let everybody
Here's
try and
the line.
follow you.
47 dicks? Your girlfriend sucked 47 dicks? What's the next line? I had to go there.
You had to go
I
there.
had to go there.
I'm shocked.
Why?
And it's not easy to shock
It's one
me.
of my favorite lines from that. Because the next line is just perfect. So I want to see if anybody gets a second
Whoever gets that correct line is going to get
3 more points.
another 3 points. Your dicks.
Right? I know you know
Not
the next
1,
line.
not 2, not 47. All these squares make a circle.
It's just
Wow.
my favorite line from that show. From that movie. It is.
Okay, well, that
absolutely-
one I think is going to float out there.
Well, that's where it's from.
Shauna knows where it's from, but she wants...
There we go. Ash got it.
Ash catches another... Ash is like, fuck this, I'm not... Wait. Nah, I think her and Diana both...
Her and Diana both get
Wow,
the points.
her and
Okay.
Diana are just like hitting
Y'all
the intro.
are-
That
yeah.
one literally came in...
See, I knew somebody would get it.
Diana's getting some points. Ash is like, she wants to protect that lead.
The calm is.
Hey, Angela, how you doing tonight?
Hey, Angela.
So yes, we're going to be doing a whole bunch of wacky-dooey trivia.
I have another one. It's
No,
not, it's not
no.
as bad.
Listen, you just pulled out 47 dicks. Your
No.
time is over.
No, both of you got it.
You both
but-
got it, hon. You both got it because you literally came in
No,
right
my
on
next-
top of
my
each
next
other.
one is not anything to do with dicks.
I can't
It has
trust
to
you
do
with
with
this
guns.
particular gesture. Just can't.
Y'all rock. Well, thank you, Angela.
Rickety rock.
You're listening on 2 devices. Oh my gosh. So is
Cool.
it kind of like a stereo or is it kind of like a weird delay?
Welcome to the Echo
Echo,
Chamber. Wow, even the Echo just was like, hey, what the fuck's going on?
Right?
No, I don't want Netflix, Echo. Shut the... This is crazy. The devices in the witch's office here are just... They're
Echo.
batshit.
Go
They just
home.
start doing random things. They just start taking over.
Oh, what's funny is there's somebody else, I think it's Ash, who has her Alexa device set up with the Echo, and so when I start talking to my Echo, it starts hers up.
I'm sorry, Dave. I can't do this right now.
Where's that from? Is that a trivia?
Yes!
That's a trivia?
Yes. Where's that from? This is an older
No.
one.
Yep. You should do it in the right voice.
I'm sorry, Dave.
I can't do that right
The trivia question is I just did a quick little line from a particular element.
now. So where's it from?
I'm glad to be on the mission, Dave.
There we go! Diana! Shit!
Diana! Look at it! Bang, bang, bang!
Diana and Chris are...
Diana won it by 3 seconds.
Okay.
Yes, the infamous Hall 9000.
So Diana's up to 9 points for the night.
Yeah.
Jeez.
This is what I mean.
She came in late, girl.
Shit can go sideways.
Yep.
But it makes it interesting. And listen, it's all in the spirit of fun. You know what I mean?
I really want to do mine.
You really want to do
I
yours?
really wanna
All
do
right,
mine.
I'll let you.
Okay. Good, bad, I'm the one with the gun.
Well, you heard it from the witch herself.
Do you know that one?
Good, bad, I'm the one with the gun.
You know that one, don't you?
I mean, I might.
Okay.
Who shall get it first? Another 3 points. There's just like 3-pointers just shooting across.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, 3 points tonight.
I like that particular movie too. There you go, Diana.
Fucking Diana's like,
Jesus,
yay!
wow. Diana's up to 12 points.
Diana just like.
Yep.
Very nice, very nice, very nice.
Yeah, Ash got it correct also, but Diana got it in 12 seconds before you. So yes, is Bruce Campbell from Army of Darkness. At the point to where they separated him out and he's fighting himself. And one of them has a gun. The other doesn't.
And this is my boomstick.
No, say hello to my boomstick, I thought he said. Or no,
I'm not sure.
You're right. And this is my boomstick, yeah.
Yeah, and I believe that is in the kind of early stages of 3, which I guess would be Evil Dead 3 Army of Darkness, again, the one that Diana is referencing. Yeah. Again, as a horror fan, and this is an interesting, little segue conversation, I really enjoyed, even though it was fucking disturbing, the original Evil Dead.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it was very suspenseful. I mean, and considering they did that whole thing on a college kind of film budget. They had no budget at all, really.
For another 3 points, what iconic filmmaker made the original Evil Dead?
Ooh, there you go.
And he's a great filmmaker. You know what I mean? He has evolved since then. No. George Romano is Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. Yeah. Diana again, Sam Raimi.
Yep. So Diana is up to 15 points for the night.
And for another 3 points, what other iconic movie has Sam Raimi done? Because there's another element that Sam is very actually well known for.
We'll see.
Yeah. Because Sam, he is. He's an iconic, guy in the industry right now. But he has worked another very iconic element. Yep, Diana gets another 3. Yes, Spider-Man.
So
Sam
Diana's
Raimi.
up to 18 points tonight. Holy Toledo, Diana.
And Ash, and they both caught it. So Ash just caught another 3 as well too.
Oh, Ash.
Wow, you guys are just capping in on each other. And I know it'll look different to you guys. Over here for us, because we're working in OBS, we get the actual framework. It won't appear the same to you guys.
Yeah, it gives us a timestamp.
But that's the beautiful thing with the way they have set up. So yeah, Sam Raimi.
Yes,
Spider-Man. And, there he is actually now doing the new Doctor Strange 2 that's coming out.
Is he really?
Yes.
I did not know this.
Yes, they have brought him back. Well, listen, he originally was a horror guy. You know what I mean? So, there are certain elements, certain directors, I believe, that bring to the table. We just did a trivia with 2001 Space Odyssey, which was Stanley Kubrick. And Stanley Kubrick was all over the fucking spectrum in regards to the types of movies that he did. But other guys, like Sam Raimi, very specific elements,
Did he do Xena? I think maybe he did.
Robert Rodriguez, has also been very known within the horror framework. Ash mentioned, George Romero, and she said Romano, but George Romero is actually who she's talking about. I fucked it up myself. See, that's...
It's one
just
of those
yes, George Romero, who was, one of the early pioneers of some of that horror stuff. But, and again, on another little 3-point trivia, because I'm just full of them tonight. What film studio did Christopher Lee play Dracula with?
Oh,
it's a specific studio. What is the film studio that Christopher Lee played his iconic Dracula roles? Little horror trivia for some of you folks out there, going a little bit deeper into some of the older stuff. And again, for another 3 points within the contest. Diana, Hammer Films. Yep.
Man.
All right, I'm going to have to switch this up. Diana's just running the table. She's like a fucking pool shark.
We need to have like some science-y trivia or something.
How very interesting. Yes. But yes, Hammer Films back in the day produced a whole bunch of adaptations or, retellings of a lot of classic horror things. Dracula, Frankenstein, and, again, Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing did many roles back and forth for a few years with Hammer Studios. And they did, for those of us from that generation, it put a new spin, a little bit darker element into those old monsters.
I have a science
Frankenstein being one of the old ones. Shiya says, all right, for 3 points, Shiya has a science one.
Nature-y trivia. What is the largest known land animal?
Largest known land animal for 3 points. Bob, tell them what they've won.
Diana's like, I know science too. She's like
tick,
nope,
tick,
I'm
tick,
gonna
tick.
get all of it. I'm gonna get
See,
all of it.
all the Jeopardy freaks better come out tonight.
Right? Diana got it. Jesus. It's the elephant.
Yeah, Diana's gonna run the table.
Yeah. Up to 24 points tonight. Oh my gosh. Ash specifically got it, the African elephant. But Diana got it in 8 seconds faster.
Yep. But Ash is still sitting.
She's sitting pretty.
Sitting way up there with the points.
If you want to scroll through those.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, we're gonna dance around different aspects of things through the evening. I like doing
that's a good one.
Little elements sometimes, and certain things when you segue into different conversations opens the door. One of the ones that we had done and was last week's question, I used an iconic little piece from It's a Wonderful Life. We also, the week before that, pulled a little bit of trivia from a 1970 animated children's special called Santa Claus is Coming to Town. And that was the Mickey Rooney one. And it was basically a framework reference to the Winter Warlock.
Yep.
And then I think the first one I did on Mary Magdalene. So I've been all over the fucking place. It's like Mary Magdalene meets the Winter Warlock.
I have an obscure goddess one.
You have an obscure goddess one.
Yes.
Well,
see if we can trade it up
listen, far be it from me. You're gonna just keep doing what you're fucking doing anyway. So. No, you don't give me that look. Go ahead.
The obscure goddess trivia. What is the Greek goddess of hope?
The Greek goddess of hope for 3 points.
You know this one.
The Greek goddess of hope. She's worth 3 points. Ash.
You got it, Ash. Elpis.
Oh, Jesus, wow. Look. Diana, Ash just literally, Ash caught that one, though.
Just barely, yep.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Okay, they're like way too quick on the Google or some shit.
Well, no, listen, we know Diana and we know Ash.
Oh, I know.
And neither one of them I would ever even remotely frame as not intelligent.
Oh, no, both of them are highly intelligent.
And Diana's got a really, that really dark, kind of like scary streak where, like, she don't want to lose. Like I wouldn't want to meet Diana in a dark alley.
No.
I really wouldn't.
No.
I'm just saying, I love you, but you scare the shit out of me. But I scare easily, so. All in good jest, all in fun.
Yes.
You do not scare me. I scare myself sometimes, though.
Do you really?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Okay. I'm going to be interested to know how you scare yourself.
And that's the next trivia question for 3 points. How does the wolf scare himself? I just want to see the type of responses people come out with.
I know what my initial
But it's worth
answer
3
is gonna
points
be.
if you actually get it. So yes, how does the wolf scare himself? Fun time, fun time. No, it is not his imagination.
No.
So that was an interesting one. I have a cast of characters
He does.
that all kind of, they have their own little
They all have their
hippie
own
commune where they hang out
yes.
and smoke hash and plot political assassinations and things like that.
I know exactly how the wolf scares himself. I'm gonna laugh my ass off if anybody actually.
Does
gets
anybody?
this.
Yes. How
Anybody
does
actually gets this? Plus, she does jujitsu. Yeah.
Well,
I'm not Diana.
Ash actually got it.
Ash, oh my God.
Ash
yeah.
got it for the 3 points. Yes, farting. Not farting myself awake, but the farting was close enough.
Shitting
My
yourself.
my gas actually scares me.
Yeah.
It does. I'm not
Sometimes
sure
it scares
why,
me.
but it does. You know, it's just, you know, that kind of, I guess, like that canary in a fucking cave terror
Right.
factor. My schizophrenia. Thank you, Diana. I'll make sure to send more trivia your way.
Right.
But schizophrenia, you know what I mean? What is, schizophrenia is one of those things, again, that I think has been kind of overly used in all seriousness. Certainly there are some people that are probably schizophrenic, but.
Well, one of the things that when I worked for vocational rehabilitation, they actually had some goggles that you could put on with a virtual reality experience to live like about 15 minutes worth of a schizophrenic's life.
But I mean, again, this is based on somebody's perceptions. Right, but again, but here's the thing. These are elements, and this is the way it was taught to me, and I believe this. These are all, again, part of the layers of our personality. They come out in different elements based on different situations, not unlike how we refer to wearing masks.
Well, not only that, but I do feel that schizophrenics are simply many times gifted and are actually seeing entities.
To some degrees, and sometimes it is the environmental factors that I believe really caused the problems, because you look at Einstein. Einstein could have been characterized many different ways. He couldn't match his own shocks. He couldn't remember, you know what I mean, times for meetings and stuff, but he came up with the theory of relativity, which still is, a major framework within quantum physics.
Well, another thing that we saw a good movie about was A Beautiful Mind. You remember that?
Ah, yes.
That could be that. Who was the Beautiful Mind written about? Or who was the Beautiful Mind about?
Ah, well, there's your next trivia question.
The historical figure that a beautiful.
Who is the historical figure that A Beautiful Mind is about?
I thought that was an awesome depiction of living with schizophrenia with somebody who has a very gifted mind.
Yes, and there are different frameworks, different elements. Shauna mentions, that her grandmother one is when people can't tell between being awake and a sleep state.
Diana got it again. Jeez.
Yeah, Ash was only 4 seconds behind on that.
Diana, you're up to 27 points tonight only. Wow. Whatever points she already had, plus 27.
Yep.
Yes, but that was a beautiful Dr. Nash, beautiful
Yes,
depiction
absolutely.
of how brilliant he was, but how misunderstood. And because of, how he processed things with his old roommate, college roommate kind of thing, when he was really on his own that whole time.
And, all things being equal, it's that unique element of perspective.
Yep.
You know, you can look at a thing based on somebody else's perspective and their translation. And that's a great point, Shauna. It is scary for the fact that it is misunderstood, just like a whole lot of other elements that I talk about that fall into the whole mental health spectrum.
And in a lot of historical contexts, and especially like in the Native American traditions and stuff like that, people who were quote unquote mentally touched were seen as gifted of the gods.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, and we've seen the framework, you know, historically throughout numerous cultures throughout the world. It is not unique to any one race or religion. It is universal, I believe, at least, because you can make the same case. And again, this is not to be framed as taking a shot, so let me just qualify this in advance. But again, you take a character like Jesus, why are his conversations, quote unquote, voices in his head? Because, you know what I mean? Again, perspective being what it is, how is that different than, you know, your junkie on 38th Street, you know, talking to himself?
Or a freedom guy who was going up and down the
street. Now again, I'm not saying that to dispute or to, you know, somehow put down or even so much frame it in a negative context. But it is really, in my opinion, about that perspective. You know, Joan of Arc was a hero and the voice of God until she wasn't convenient anymore, and then they fucking killed her.
She's a witch.
So, Chris, thank you. Thank you.
I agree. The divine spark is with
I talk to myself all the time, too. Sometimes you will get absolutely the best answers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beauty, again, of how our minds work. We can apply different elements. It's, you know, kind of like this plug-and-play thing. You can take the aspects of your experience, of your interactions. I hear my mother's voice sometimes because I've interacted with her to different degrees. I've learned elements from her to different degrees that I can almost channel it to some aspects, even with her not being there. Is it perfect? No. But it does fall, I think, within the same spectrum, at least.
I mean, I've had a client who came to me that told me that, you know, Whitney Houston was talking to her, and when we turned around and looked at it in the cards, it was simply that Whitney Houston was somebody she respected, so she was hearing her guides with the voice of Whitney Houston because she would listen to that and respect that.
We all have these, again, perceptions of how certain things translate. Call it a higher power, call it a divine entity, call it whatever you want, but they have many faces.
Yes.
And for our next trivia question, what iconic movie explored the element of God at the center of the galaxy?
Oh.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There is an iconic movie.
Mm-hmm.
I at least feel it's an iconic movie where
yes, completely.
God was at least explored, quote unquote, at the center of the galaxy.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Diana.
Yep. Diana got it.
Yep, Diana got it. Star Trek 5.
So she's all the way up to 30 points. Dang, Diana. Coming from behind to claim that hoodie.
Yeah, Star Trek 5, it was about Spock's half-brother, Sybok, and his connection with a entity that presented itself as God. So they took a shot out there, went to explore it. They found out, hey, it's not actually God.
So as long as we're going on God trivia.
Oh, shit.
In which movie was God played by Alanis Morissette?
For another 3 points. In what movie was God played by Alanis Morissette?
I love that movie.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
That's a good one. Well, as long as you were on the God trivia, I had to add.
Yeah, well, listen. Tonight is just like... It's great. Well, I'm calling it the Christmas Trivia Blitz.
There we go. Ash got it.
Ash got it. Dogma. Iconic movie. Highly recommend to anybody who has never seen Dogma that they check it out. Great movie in my opinion by Kevin Smith.
Yes.
Same guy who did Mallrats and Clerks and Jay and Silent Bob.
And of course, yes, Jay and Silent Bob are referenced there.
A fellow New Jersey brother.
Yep.
But
so
yes,
I love that movie where you have an idea rather than a belief.
Yes.
People die for beliefs. They enjoy ideas. I love the prophet in that movie.
Yes, it definitely. Well, I mean, again, I would use it. I was going to actually go there with who was the 13th apostle.
Ah, that's a good one.
Yes, who is the 13th apostle? Quick for another 3 points.
I have an obscure book reference.
And there are actually two answers to this, depending upon how you're looking at it.
If you're looking at it from that particular movie or from a different aspect.
No. We are framing this again from the context of dogma. And there are two possible answers to this. Everybody's actually going biblical. This is a character. This is a character from Dogma. There you go, Diana got it. It's Rufus. That's right. Wow. Jesus still owes him a 3-piece and a biscuit.
Yep.
Still owes him a 3-piece and a biscuit meal. But that's how it is. You know what I mean? God is all knowing, all loving, all powerful and stuff. He's just not really good at money. So sometimes you got to front him a 3-piece and a biscuit meal. From movies.
So I've got an obscure reference.
Oh Jesus! Go ahead. What's your obscure reference?
Okay. This is a book trivia.
According
to the Lamb, who was Christ's childhood best friend?
You want to give that to them again?
According to the book The Lamb, who was Christ's childhood best friend?
Interesting.
And believe me, this is not an actual.
Yeah, this is a.
There we go, Biff.
Oh,
yes,
Jesus.
Ash got it. Christ's childhood
Fucking
best
Biff.
friend. Fucking Biff. Yes. I'll tell you what. Anybody who hasn't read that book, and can put up with a lot of definitely sacrilegious stuff, would enjoy it. That book is a laugh out loud fest the entire time. Diana got it too.
Yep, but just her and Ash have been kind of bouncing back and forth between who's quicker on the draw.
Right.
So it's actually been kind of interesting. And with that, in discussion for anybody who just came in, yes, we're doing trivia for this month's trivia contest for a custom, one-of-a-kind sweatshirt from my brother, Tattoo Tony Rodriguez. And my brother is involved in a lot of different things, and we'll just pull up his stuff. He is the bass player, original founding member of Broken Past. He is also the owner and main designer-developer for Papo Sticker Company.
Which has a new offshoot.
It's a line, but we're going to get to that in the new year. And he's also the founder of Tattoo Tony's Under My Skin tattoo shop in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey. I have the web addresses for all of them. If you're into Broken Past, they're a metal band. Myself and the Monkey were part of the original core lineup with Tony back in the day a few years ago. If you are looking for one of the best damn tattoo artists, in my opinion, in the world.
He's really awesome.
And again, I not just because he's my brother, because he's fucking good. Go check out his website. Look at the people this guy's tattooed.
Oh my God, yeah. Okay.
But again, Atlantic Highlands, which is the Jersey Shore, right outside of Sandy Hook, New Jersey.
And you know what? If you're anywhere near that area in January,
we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But the Papo Sticker Company, you do not have to be in New Jersey to take advantage of.
That is true.
The Papo Sticker Company, basically, Tony can design everything from mugs to T-shirts to patches, stickers,
custom hoodies,
hats, you name it. Tony has all the shit.
Yep.
But see, here's the thing, Chris. He's not actually that expensive. The website's right up on the thing, but if you can't see it, is www.undermyskintat2.com.
It's up there on your screen right now, Liz.
Yeah, listen, Tony is the guy. He can make custom t-shirts. He can make custom hats, mugs. He can make it all. And, again, and listen, I know a lot of people, I have tattoos. Chris, listen, I get it. He's too far away. But if you ever find yourself out there, and listen, sometimes the universe is, you never know. You might find yourself out there. But for anybody who does maybe find themselves out there or, are thinking about that context, January 21st, 2022, at the Stone Pony in Asbury Park, New Jersey, my old stomping grounds. He is Jersey Shore. He's about 45 minutes, an hour outside of New York City, right outside of Sandy Hook, New Jersey. But January 21st, 2022, again, at the Stone Pony in Asbury Park, Tattoo Tony's birthday bash. Broken Past will be playing, as well as a couple other bands, Tonal Crush, Belt Down Mob, Corvid Corpus. So it's going to be a rock metal show at the Stone Pony.
It's going to be awesome.
We're hoping that maybe we can get down there if shit isn't too ridiculously insane. But hey, listen, anybody who wants, to make the trip out, meet some great people, have some fun and some music, and go to an iconic rock club while it still exists,
yep,
the Stone Pony is an iconic rock club. And, listen, I was blessed. One of my bucket list elements was performing at the, at the Pony with my son. And I got to do that not once, not twice. I got to do that 5 times.
Wow.
I got to perform at the Stone Pony
with your
during our run with Broken Past, with my monkey, next to me, that double guitar thing. And listen, it really was. It was a bucket list. There's just
really
no,
jam when y'all jam together.
no really way jam. To really translate what that meant, to me, and to for him too. It was an incredible learning experience, a lot of fun, some weird shit, but hey, welcome to the wonderful world we live in. And I will be bringing in people periodically in the new year onto the podcast. My good friend Tom Hampton, who is a guitar player from a band called Poco. Has been doing some track work for me. He does slide guitar on one of the tracks that gets played in the background called Mama Rocks, but he is an iconic musician from Tennessee. He will be on the podcast in 2022. My mother, the indomitable Magda, the amazing Magda will be on January 11th, not next week, but the week after. And she's going to talk about some of the original elements from her experiences during the mid to late 60s, elements of music, the hippie movement, elements of some of the dynamics that we saw in play then that unfortunately are still in play now, and also too, full disclosure, to kind of craft a little piece of the family history. This is the beautiful thing with technology and stuff now, that down the road at some point, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren will be able to actually go back to the podcast and be able to hear these elements from her.
Right.
Not just so much as a story that's passed down, but actually within her words, which
Magda's an amazing woman.
She is definitely, a huge framework in my life. Obviously, she's my mother, so
well,
I am emotionally compromised.
I'm not, and I think she's an amazing woman.
Well, you're emotionally compromised because you're with me. You'll say whatever has to be said.
No, actually, if I met her on the street, I would love talking with her. I would sit down.
You talk to maniacs. You talk to random maniacs in the shadows.
But I would actually make friends with her.
Yeah, well, but that's different.
See, I tell people, there's that kind of thing with family, that as you go through and you look at things, you look at if you met that person on the street and they weren't family and you didn't have to interact with them, would you still choose to do so? And with Magda, my answer would be yes. She's pretty amazing. With some of my family, my answer is fuck no.
Which brings us to our next trivia question.
Oh, how are you?
For 3 points. And Melissa, how you doing? Melissa is one of those people that is up in the running for winning this contest. So I'm glad you were able to get in.
that's the other Melissa.
Oh, that's the other Melissa.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, Melissa. I had the wrong Melissa. That's not the Melissa.
I did message that Melissa.
Could it be that Melissa, or it could be another Melissa? Welcome, Melissa. There's a whole lot of Melissa going
That's
on
the one
here.
I'm doing the website with.
Ah, that's right.
That's
Okay.
that Melissa.
I got to keep my shit tight. Hold on. Alert. Yes, it's time. No, somebody has.
Okay.
Dun. Yes.
There we go.
I'm gonna be that guy.
Here it comes.
I'm gonna be that guy because.
You gotta click the music.
Oh no, I know what the fuck I'm
Okay.
trying to tell me what the fuck, fucking
What
fuck,
the fuck?
fuck.
Fuck.
I know what the fuck I'm doing.
What
You
the fuck?
fuck.
Fuck.
Yes, a whole lot of fucks.
Fuck.
And yes, I'm gonna do it like that.
But you have to hit the little.
Dun.
There you go.
All right. So yes, we're gonna have this dancing in the background. Been doing a little bit of adjustments so that way. Oh, the goblins say good night. Well,
Good night, goblins.
coincidentally, we have goblin dance playing in the background while all hail the goblin queen.
All hail the Goblin Queen! All hail the Goblin Queen!
Yes. And there was that moment. And it is now past. It looks like you guys had a great holiday. I heard a certain someone, a particular William, has ventured into uncharted territories.
The world of
It's a will thing.
technology.
Listen, I don't know what to tell you. One parent to another, you might as well get used to this shit. Just strap yourself in. It's going to be the roller coaster ride from hell. You'll have great moments. You might shit yourself. I did, but that's just me.
That's a whole nother context.
That's a whole nother context. But yes. See, I love, the one of the things for me with the holidays has always been about the kids. Not just because, again, being a parent and all that, but it captures, I think some of the innocence, some of the elements I think are important. Ah,
Miller!
Brother Miller. Yes. Yeah, well, you better hope that shit don't come back to haunt you, honey, because I don't know. Kids have a way of finding out the damnedest things about us. And Brother Miller, I tell you, because he and I have both had some interesting situations with our kids over the years.
About Williams being extremely intelligent.
Well, it's not only that. I think it's also a dynamic that children by default, as much as we think as adults that we're somehow got the upper hand, they really are in many ways are smarter and much more adaptable than we are. We become conditioned. We become kind of, stuck to some degrees with how we think and perceive things. Fucking kids will just, they'll rewrite reality to get to that fucking cookie.
Don't like the rules? No problem. Let's change the rules.
But it's also, again, it's curiosity. It's that inquisitive element.
Yeah.
And, some of it also, too, is, just kind of like that. Ooh, Mom said, don't touch this. I wonder why.
Must touch.
Will he touch the shiny red button that will end all existence? Will he end the world as we know it? He might.
Now,
And there it is. She's like, yes, her son charged her over $100 of non-refundable game purchases today. Downloaded apps, Google in Mandarin, and you still took him to see the Christmas lights and fed him Chinese.
Oh, man, that is one lucky kid.
Yes.
So.
Listen,
Now,
I mean, again,
William
you have to take it in the spirit it is. I've seen people lose their shit sometimes, and I don't believe in that. Don't get me wrong. When him and his friends took some of my vintage album collection and used them as fucking frisbees.
Oh my God!
Out in the front yard.
No.
Yeah, there was a moment where my brain was like, well, I gave him life pretty easy. I'm wondering if I could snatch that life back just as easily. Now, it didn't last. Okay.
How about the peanut butter sandwich?
Oh, no, the peanut butter sandwich. My son actually, when he was like 3 years old, put a peanut butter and jelly sandwich into the VCR. He thought that somehow that would make it play something.
I wonder what he thought it would play.
And Brother John's like, hey, man, I'm in your pocket taking out the pub trash. You got to do what you got to do then, buddy. Yes. But yeah, I mean, you know, there's sometimes, you know, there are moments where...
Your uncle took your mom's favorite record for target practice, and your mom let him live?
Listen, when I was 11 years old, I stole my mother's car.
Oh my God.
With a 6-pack of beer to try and go down to the other end of the neighborhood to hook up with, you know, with what we kind of would reference one of those girls.
Oh.
One of those girls.
Those girls.
And the whole thing went sideways because my stupid ass didn't understand the dynamics of a fucking Fury 3, which was like a goddamn starship. You know what I mean? And in trying to turn around on a side street, I actually backed it up into a guy's rig. And the car stalled out, and I was stuck there in the middle of the road, 11 years old, no license, 6-pack of beer in the car. And then the cops showed up. Hey, son, what are you doing here? Oh, nothing. Now, granted, you know, way back. No, this was way back. This was the 70s. This was the 70s for me. Way back in the 50s.
Jeez.
They didn't have beer in the 50s, or at least as far as I know. Right? They didn't have beer in the 50s.
Sure they did.
Of course they did. But, yeah, listen,
I
got my ass beat. I got my pure and simple.
I'm laughing at the nephew who boiled
there was no child
fish.
protective services back in the 70s, at least not for us folks. You got your ass beat. And, you know. You know, in many ways, listen, I deserved it. You know, it was a stupid, fucked up maneuver.
Her mom smashed a bottle to her uncle for the messing with her favorite album.
Oh, okay.
So he got a milk bottle to the head.
That would be also indicative of the time period.
Yes.
And here for another 3 points, a quick trivia question. What iconic show was Pinky Tuscadero from? For 3 points.
Oh, good one.
What iconic show was Pinky Tuscadero from? Yeah, no doubt, Sicilian Way. Angela Vasquez.
There you go.
She got it.
Now, the scary thing is I can still sing the entire entrance to Happy Days.
Yeah, no, don't.
I'm not going to.
Don't do it.
I can, though.
Please, God, no.
So that one goes to...
That goes to... Angela Vasquez.
Okay.
Congratulations. Yes, that was Happy Days back in the day.
Days.
Yes, yes. You know, I'm going to throw out another... Here comes another 3 points. And this is just going to be a simple one. All you have to do is associate this next statement. Okay? Exterminate! Exterminate! Exterminate!
Exterminate! I know where that one's from.
I know you know where it's from.
Chris, we're going with the timestamps that we're seeing on this side. It's always going to show up earlier on your side because you don't have the internet lag from your own comments. It's going to post instantly to you. So what we go is the timestamps that it all comes through to us.
Nope.
Nope.
But Ash got it. Doctor Who.
So, Ash got another 3 points.
That was the iconic kind of death fucking ding-a-ling of the Daleks.
Yes, Daleks.
Daleks were like, you know, the big bad guy from Doctor Who back in the day. Some good old BBC action for you. And, you know, listen, I mean, again, in the spirit of science fiction, you know, I think Doctor Who now has been through 10 actors and actresses over the years since the early 70s.
They kind of explain the whole Time Lord change, you know, with that. You know what, though? A very important question for Doctor Who is, what is his famous tool?
Well, there you go. For another 3 points, what is his famous tool? Or his or her? Because there have been female incarnations of the Doctor.
What is the Time Lord's famous tool?
What is the Time Lord's famous tool? That's an interesting one.
Be specific. Ash, you're close to it, but I want a specific answer.
It's like everybody's tapping it. Come on, Ghoul.
There we go.
Diana.
Diana got it. It's a sonic screwdriver.
Fuck. Yes, the Goblin Queen is... Do I assume you're screwing your keyboard, or is your keyboard screwing you?
No.
Because all I see is screw and then a whole bunch of chaos.
Now, the telephone booth was the TARDIS. It looks like a telephone booth on the outside, or a call box, a police call box, actually, rather than a telephone booth.
Yeah,
so,
well, yeah.
You know, it always looked like the police call box, and then
yes, it was the old, yeah.
And then you go into it, and it's like, oh, it's much bigger on the inside.
That weird little sound effect. Shh.
Yeah.
Going on the trip. Bye-bye. So, yes, Doctor Who was definitely one of those.
I love Doctor Who.
Yes, one of those, you know, kind of, you know, for science fiction fans, goes back. Yeah, she's like, I don't play these. I started to answer and tried to delete and it sent. Well, that's what happens when you have a whole series computer in your house there, Goblin Queen. You may want to check into that. Okay. Unless Williams reprogrammed it.
Uh-oh.
It might already be at that point. That shit happens before you know it.
Now, I can do a very obscure Doctor Who trip.
No.
No, you're Doctor Who now?
No.
Okay.
Nope, she's on her phone. She's hiding somewhere. Where are you hiding?
She's hiding outside.
And Angela's like, she doesn't watch television. There was a big chunk of time where I didn't watch television either. I definitely got burnt out on it. But again, as a single parent, you know, there were a lot of times, you know, to really be blunt, that TV was a very simple and cheap medium of entertainment and interaction, you know, for things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't have the money as a single parent to, you know, to be, you know, running off places here and there and everywhere every day. So, you know, different, and especially for kids, you know, you find the framework. Like, you know, my son, you know, initially started off with things like, you know, Nickelodeon, Rugrats, Blue's Clues, you know, and then it progressed into, you know, Pokemon and Scooby-Doo, and then Ed, and Eddie, and started going down into some of the deeper shit, you know, Ren and Stimpy, and
nowadays,
and then anime showed up.
Yeah, anime. Mm-hmm.
And then that was it.
Yeah.
Anime showed up, and it was like.
But then there was Rick and Morty.
And here we go. Here is the next 3-point trivia question. What famous anime are brothers Alphonse and Elric from?
I know this one.
So again, what classic anime are the brothers Alphonse and Elric from? Well, excuse me, Alphonse and Edward. We got to get the translation correct in fairness. Edward and Alphonse were the brothers from an iconic anime series.
Oh, Lily, why are you zipping your lips?
Oh,
Yahawashi.
Ash, yes! Full Metal Alchemist.
There you go. Yahawashi.
Wait. I bind and rebuke and slave all of Satan tis by the mightiest name of the true God, Yahweh, I pray, amen. I wage spiritual wars offensively against all of your demons. I'm a fucking demon and I take offense to it. Sorry, you gotta go. Peace out, have a nice day. You know what? I'm not going to do that. In fairness.
No, this is the same person. They always show back up with different names.
Oh, okay. That is what that is.
That same person.
I was just going to try and be.
Nobody does the Yahuwashi crap besides them. So Ash got that one, right? So
yes.
24, 25, 26, 27. So she's up to 27.
And Brotherhood there was the original Full Metal Alchemist, and then there was Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Brotherhood was just basically the condensation of the series to put it into a more, I guess, streamlined format. And that was what I originally watched with my son, was Full Metal Alchemist The Brotherhood, which again was I think it was 64 episodes versus like the 138 strung out ones that was originally part of the Japanese release.
Yep.
So yes.
You need to hit new messages.
Yes, autocorrect hates words for names.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does indeed.
Lady, you love that anime. The beginning was so sad.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the Law of Equal Exchange and the whole framework of their trauma in not only, losing their mother, but, for those of you who don't know the storyline, both the brothers paid a huge price in trying to bring their mother back. So a big part of that storyline was them coming to terms with the trauma of losing their mother, and then the aspect of finding their father again, who kind of left the scenario. And then, yes, the younger brother, Alphonse, paid the biggest price in the whole debacle of the alchemy gone bad. So, yeah, I mean, again, one of the beautiful things I've always said, and I will always feel this way, that different mediums of art, be it anime, be it comic books, be it written books, be it cartoons, be it music, be it paintings, be it whatever, they all tell stories. And those stories, again, have common elements that we can look at, that we can compare against, that we could relate to. And some of them are painful, but there's also elements of hope. One of the strong themes that I saw, and I used it as a teaching element with my son and his friends, were concepts of honor, strength in numbers, the struggle against, I guess you could say, the corruption, the pursuit of power. There are a lot of good moral themes and aspects within cartoons, quote unquote, anime, again, whatever you want to categorize it.
Anime gets very deep.
Oh, absolutely.
They really dive deep into a character, their emotional state, healing, and all. I mean, it gets really deep.
Yes, it does. And speaking, and Brother John's like, speaking of demons, yes, that is demons playing in the background.
Yes, it is.
But there are, again, elements that translate better, in my opinion. It was easier in some ways to communicate at their level using those aspects because it was relatable to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was something, it's that common point of connection.
Sleep well,
Lady Lily,
Queen.
love you as always. Give the family our love and best, and hope you guys have a great new year if we don't see you. So yes, I again believe that, again, they can be comical, they can be stupid, and listen, some people have an issue because, it's like, well, there's so much fucking fan service. Why are there all those titties? Yeah, there are titties in anime sometimes, and other adult elements that, not unlike within comic books or any number of mediums, you have music that can be incredibly, offensive, quote unquote, or outside that comfortability zone. I don't want to have to give everybody a crash course and WAP, but I think that's the best example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Listen, if there can be a song, and I'm going to say it, here it is, the wolf is going to say, If you can frame a song around wet-ass pussy...
And have it hit the top charts.
I mean, there's, you know, there's nowhere else. You know what I mean? That's pretty much, you just kick the door in. Everything now is just open territory.
Diana wants to know Tattoo Tony's website again.
Yes,
he doesn't design clothing. He embroiders items of clothing like hats and t-shirts and shirts and all that stuff. Or whatchamacallit, yeah.
There you go, yes. Yeah, the Peppo Sticker Company,
like
he can do a custom design t-shirt, custom design sweatshirts, mugs, hats, bumper stickers. Yeah, just like, yeah, Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon was probably the earliest epitome of the fan service.
Yeah.
You know, just running around in like the shortest skirts imaginable, and you know, they just became teenage jerk-off fantasies. Call it for what it is.
True.
Okay, you know. Now, again, is that a horrible thing? No. Is it something that has to be balanced in a framework?
Yeah.
Yes. Because every child is different, and, you know, some of it is context and timing. You know, I wouldn't say that that's, you know, an appropriate element for a 5-year-old child.
But then again, they're not necessarily going to
But for a 12-year-old, a 12 or 13-year-old child who's, you know, getting into that thing. Right, yes, the original...
Oh, yeah.
Manga, I think it's referred to as manga in this particular context. Yeah, well, it may be the hentai, but yes, she is nude in the books.
The manga, I think, is the nudity. The hentai gets into the weird monsters.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Japanese culture has some interesting twists on sexuality.
Yeah. And they're so prudish in some ways, and other ways they're just like, oh, let's do tentacle porn.
Well, you know.
Tentacle porn is the best.
South Park made a great reference, you know, to, you know, Japanese puke porn.
Oh, geez.
Which is a real thing, people.
It really is, because they're not really allowed
don't go looking for it, because once you see it, you can't unsee it.
No,
just
you don't want to
trust me when I tell you
that
it is a real thing.
It is.
Okay? Don't ask me why, but, you know, there are so many, you know, I mean, again, listen, we're going to have the honest conversation. You know, some people are into some weird fucking shit. Yes. All right? Let's just call it for what it is. Now, again, within certain frameworks, I don't have to agree with it, and I think certain things do cross the boundary lines. Like, if you don't have consent, as far as I'm concerned, you've now crossed one of those lines.
Agreed.
Now, consent doesn't, in my mind, just apply to man or woman. AKA, if you take a gerbil and shove him up your ass, how does the gerbil feel about it? Was there consent in this context? Was there consideration? I mean, granted, again, maybe it isn't at the same intelligence level as this, but it's still a sentient creature. It feels pain. I'm sure it understands fear. Yeah. I don't know what could be more horrifying
than trying to shove a gerbil.
You know, I mean, again, imagine if you're a gerbil. Okay, you're a gerbil. You're just hanging around. You're doing your thing.
That's it.
Now all of a sudden, some freaky fucking guy just shows up, and you know, now you're being jammed deep into a giant's colon. That's not fun. Okay, that you know, that doesn't translate to me, and I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I don't want to begrudge anybody's right to their personal choice, but I look at the same analogy, and, you know, this is actually another true horrible story to close out 2021. There were some guys down in Virginia that basically were going around to horse farms and fucking horses. No joke. Here's the kicker, no pun intended. The only reason these guys got caught is because one of the horses they tried to fuck wasn't having it, did a back kick, and killed the guy that was trying to fuck it. So when they found the dead guy with his dick out, okay, it wasn't hard to put the pieces together. And then they followed it down, and then the idiots made videos of themselves fucking horses, so it didn't take long for this fucking straw house to fall down. Yeah, listen, again, all joking aside, that, yes, it's gross, it's fucked up, but that is rape. okay? It's an animal. Now, some people will say, well, we kill animals to eat them. All right, yeah, I mean, you can semanticize it and drive it. No, but listen, in this day and age, you can buy a Japanese sex robot. Nobody needs to be fucking horses. And listen, there's no context, there's no joking justification in any framework of rape. So I'm not trying to put that in any type of dialogue. And you know what, for those of you who have experienced that, truly, for whatever it's worth, my sympathies in that. Nobody should ever have to experience that type of thing. So without letting it, segueing into the negative thing. But this is again, this is the world we live in. People are into weird stuff. There was a thing a few years ago where the auto asphyxiation thing became a thing, And basically what that is, guys were putting basically fucking nooses around their necks and then hanging themselves while jerking off and then trying not to die in this process. And obviously, a couple of them obviously didn't pull it off and were found dead. No, see, I disagree with the immediate execution. I think that, Angela, and no offense, just my personal opinion, I think that's too easy. Death is not always a punishment. There are things that are worse than death. Me personally, and maybe this is fucked up, but I believe that a rapist shouldn't get off that easy. Now, I would be okay, with, say, like a pay-per-view, go back to old school Roman times, throw them in a pit with some baboons and let the baboons rape them, see how they like it. I'm not sure how that would fly with the bamboo, with the bamboo. Those people, Peter would probably freak the fuck out, but you get my point. Castration, I think, is a viable element. Yeah, Diana, I've heard stories too. Child rapists don't have a good time in prison, but in any society, it's tough to balance elements of what's justice versus retribution versus, what really is going to push us in the wrong way. Certain things, and, we've had these conversations before, I agree, are not forgivable aspects. Especially, when you apply it to elements of things like rape or torture or incredibly abusive, violent elements. How do you trade that element off, especially if you're going to look at it in the scope of a, lesser of two evils versus, protecting the greater good? I don't believe in, Old Testament analogy that, if somebody steals something, you chop their hand off. I think that's a bit extreme. But yeah, if you stick your dick in somebody who didn't want your dick in it or vice versa or whatever, then there needs to be a price to pay. Should it be a Midnight Express element? Again, context depends on the situation. Certain things are, bigger triggers for me. Anything that frames against children, being a parent, I have absolutely no fucking tolerance for it. I don't pretend. I don't make excuses for it. I think crimes, quote unquote, against children are one of those unforgivable lines. Okay? Absolutely, because now you've laid an element, and we all know what trauma does and how it carries over in our lives, in our relationships, and everything around us. So somebody who has, taken that magic, taken that innocence away, especially again from a child, I think it's a deeper crime. That doesn't say just because a person is older that they somehow, their pain is less, and it's hard sometimes, I think, to equivalate certain things. How do you compare trauma and pain? Murder is murder, rape is rape, but are there varying lines of it? Yes, unfortunately. Is it a perfect system? No. But I also believe that we have the ability to look at things in context, to say, hey, this is this, but that is something else. And let me tell you, I almost, and full disclosure here, true story, I almost went to prison because I lost my shit as a younger man on a guy that beat up my sister multiple times and raped her. And, that aspect for me, especially at the time period, I had a lot of anger, I had a lot of resentment, and I had a lot of unchecked rage. And it was convenient and easy to focus it on the bad guy. Now, does that make what I did right? I literally pulled the guy out of a car and beat the shit out of him to such a degree that he had to go to the hospital. And the only thing that saved my stupid ass at that particular time was that he was a known predator. However, back in the day, it was much easier, unfortunately, for men to get away with abusing women. And I don't think that that's like magical news to anybody out there. It's unfortunate, but our culture has been tolerant and has turned a blind eye to many of these aspects for a long time. But when it hit home, aka it was my little sister, I lost my fucking shit, man. And I put an ass whooping on that guy. It was the only thing that I could equivalent as far as justice. Does it make it right? No. There is, again, that slippery slope. When we take matters into our own hands, there are consequences. There are prices that we'll have to pay in the trade-off. Again, it is a thin line. Now, you were to say, yes?
Frontier justice.
Frontier justice, the monkey says. Yes. Frontier justice was a whole nother ballgame. You take that, that Yellowstone road, as they say. You fucked up and that was your ass. You were hanging from a tree. You know what I mean? You cheated at cards. You got a 45 slug in your gut. You know what I mean? And it's not all like, poppity pop and quick and clean like in the movies and shit. Anybody that knows anything about weapons, especially high caliber weapons, the guns that they used back in the day were absolutely fucking ridiculous. You know what I mean? But that was the way. And you can trace it back in history to different cultures and things like that. There were elements, Old Testament. If you fucked up, that was your ass.
Hammurabi's Code.
Yeah, Ash, you're right. Getting shot in the belly was a slow and painful death. It was not a pleasant way to die. But that frontier justice aspect was a counterbalance to...
In a way, that's how justice started with
Hammurabi's
Code, eye for an eye.
Right. It was wild, you know what I mean? And there were unpredictable and dangerous elements. So you look at a quote-unquote civilized society, how do you balance that with the uncivilized? And I'm not talking about the Indians or the Native Americans, because that's all bullshit, okay? We were our own worst enemies, okay? We set the stage for many of these elements. Now, all things being equal, we know also historically that there's always been conflict. You can go back again to any period in time, fucking Cain and Abel. You know what I mean? There's always been elements of conflict. So where do you balance that? What is vigilantism versus justice? What is right versus wrong? It's not always a simple question. It's not always an easy answer. And like most things in life, again, it goes back to context. It goes back to situation. It's not pretty, but I think most people would agree, if, push comes to shove, and, here it is in a simple network. If it's one of you, and you're in a situation and you have the ability to do something, I think most of us are the type of people that will step up and do the right thing versus just, being apathetic or just being like, hey, not my fucking problem. Have a hairy person that wrongs you wake up covered in wax. Well, that's an interesting one.
That's just cruel. I like it.
Yes, Monkey likes it.
Right up there with tar and feathering.
Ah, tar and feathering. Tar and feathering was always an interesting one. the ultimate in humiliation with
Oh, it was painful,
a little
too.
bit of pain. Yeah,
Hot tar? Ooh.
yeah. You're definitely it's gonna leave a mark. But it wasn't.
More often than not, it was like pine tar too. So that shit was sticky.
Yeah, well, listen. Again, at that particular time frame, Chris, I didn't believe that I had an option. Again, my perspective at that time as a young man was that there was no other way to deal with it because, and I think a lot of women, especially some of you older women, know that women weren't taken serious. Frameworks of sexual assault and rape were almost dismissed a lot of times out of hand unless it was so far over the top or involved somebody who had position, money, power that most quote-unquote regular people, yeah, there was no aspect for it. There was, I think everybody has heard or read horror stories that every major metropolitan city has, thousands of backdated rape kits that never got processed, that nobody ever just gave a shit about. And especially when you look at it from male toxicity, and I'm a guy and I'm going to call it for what it is, it was an inside job. Men were covering each other's asses. So, when everybody's following the same bullshit fucking line, that's how you end up with these generational patterns where it wasn't talked about. It wasn't
Acknowledged.
handled. Yes, it wasn't acknowledged. But women knew what the fuck were going on. And a lot of us men knew what were going on too. You know what I mean? So, again, if you're going to have the honest conversation, and it took, I think, and Shiya and I have had this conversation, Monkey, you and I have had this conversation to different degrees, that it took an element of like the Me Too movement to really just say, hey, women aren't going to take it anymore. They've had enough.
It's still happening a lot.
I mean, it still happens, absolutely. But it's shifting. The dynamic is beginning to change. Is it where it needs to be? Absolutely not. But progress is how we get there. And some of it, as I like to talk about, is we have to talk about it. Men need to vocalize it, and more importantly, men need to call it out when it's actually going down. And I'm not just talking waiting until the actual rape is going down. I'm talking about in the subtle elements that set the stage, that condition that type of behavior in inappropriate commentary. Like, again, there's a case to be made when, you're joking and stuff. And even I fuck it up sometimes, And I'll be humble and I'll be honest and say, hey, listen, I apologize. I do not mean to offend. We all make mistakes. It happens. But there's a difference between honest mistakes and then, again, toxic behavioral patterns where women are objectified. It's okay to look at somebody and be like, yeah, that looks like an ice cream sundae I'd like to eat. Doesn't mean you get to act out on it. Doesn't mean you get to touch them. It doesn't mean you get to pressure or, do any of these other lower level things that unfortunately I believe, and a lot of other people believe, set the stage for the deeper, darker, more violent aspects. And you're right, Angela, I agree with you. I hate anyone who enables unacceptable behavior. It is a disease in many ways. It creates apathy, and it frames a conditioned element where other people see it, and then they, by default, good or bad, fall in line. Listen, I believe, at least for me personally, that objectifying has different levels, okay? We all see and respond to the things we hear, we taste, we smell, we see. I don't like double standards. I believe that's part of the bigger problem that we have, is that we'll set a standard for one end of the spectrum and say, well, no, it doesn't apply over here.
I think there's also a difference between people that want to be seen and people that don't want to be seen. So, for example, a lot of celebrities look the way they look and try and have as much screen time as they can, looking as attractive as they can. Yeah, they are purposely trying to objectify themselves sometimes.
Right.
And in that case, yeah.
And listen, some people enjoy it. Some people want it. So, again...
Like, straight up, if you watch a video of Jason Momoa, he's a lot of ladies' hot topics right now.
Yeah.
Because the dude looks like...
Oh, Jason. Oh, God, Jason. Ah! Anyway. But
the dude's fucking ripped. And he knows it, and he shows it off.
And, again, in the framework of... as they say, between consenting adults, you know what? There's no problem with it. It's not hurting anybody. But it has to be communicated. You know what I mean? It has to be in an open dialogue. And you're right. Diana says just because a person wants to look attractive doesn't mean they want to be harmed. True. AKA, just because you dress a particular way doesn't mean that somehow that's an open invitation like, hi, I'm a whore, you can just fuck me at random. Yeah, no. But listen, let me tell you, it does go both ways. And I know, unfortunately, the majority of it is towards women, but let me tell you, as a musician and performer, and the monkey will testify too, when we performed, we were objectified. We have long hair and tattoos. We play rock and roll. We fit into this illusion, this imagery that the people on the other side, again, for better or for worse, embrace in their own particular way. Now, again, you don't see women raping men to the degree that you see men raping women. So, yeah, obviously, there's a disconnect, and we have to do a better job at setting better standards. And I think the first thing, again, has to be that level of accountability. There can't be double standards. You can't say that this is okay here, but it's not okay there. I use the analogy, and, it'll be the last thing I'll talk about tonight. This kid up here in fucking Niagara County, not one, not two, not three, but four admitted aspects of sexual assault on 4 different women and walked away with probation because, A, the kid is white, and because the kid's family has money and connections. That's fucking bullshit. That says... to every rich fucking white boy out there, you can just fuck whoever you want and don't worry about it. And it says to every woman out there that, guess what? It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what you feel. You're just a context now, depending upon whoever happens to come around the fucking corner. That's not the way a society works. That's the double standard. And that's why, and again, I get a lot of guys that be like, why are the women so pissed off? It's like, how do you expect them not to be pissed off? Look at the shit that's going on. Look at what's been going on for generations. That doesn't mean that Bob over on White Street is the guy personally responsible, but we all have a part in fixing it, okay? And as my part, as a man, as a father to a young man, I believe I have to. You can't just ignore certain elements of things, or it never changes. Diana says, unfortunately, women can come from rich daddies too. They can afford the rich lawyer, and you're right. Oh, it happens. But there are certain dynamics that are so out of whack, at least in my opinion, and they usually fall on one of 2 levels. Either the race card or the class card, aka your money. So it's either the color of your skin or, the money that you have. And that, that they're both double fucking standards, And nobody should have to contend with that. Yeah, listen, Angela, it is unfortunate. I am sorry that most of the men that are not worthy of the respect that they say they want. For whatever this is worth, and this is one of the things that I try and teach, these are learned behaviors. These are conditioned elements that have been passed on generationally for a long time. So there is a lot of past baggage that has to be addressed, okay? It's not that you're wrong, okay? You're absolutely right. But again, it's not always based on a desire. A lot of men simply don't know better. Now, again, this is where other men, I believe, have to step up and have to call out. We have to set not only a better standard, but we have to teach. And you're right. Diana also says, it depends on the culture. Her Latin culture wouldn't care. If you hurt a woman they love, they will hunt you. Same thing within the Italians. But also within the Italian culture, a husband could beat the shit out of his wife every fucking day because she is his property. So again, there is that funky little, they'll go out and kill somebody for looking at their mother sideways, but they'll beat the shit out of their wife for, not having dinner ready on time. And, that was my father, you know what I mean? So I've experienced it firsthand. So, again, it's a weird double standard, and it's one that is, again, I believe it's starting to change.
I've always loved the dynamic if, you don't fuck with my family. But in the same way they had the way they dealt with their own dynamics then.
Yeah, and Shannon says it's tough. She works in a male-dominated industry. It's tough to be taken seriously. It's going to be a process, and it's going to be a process that takes time. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be unfair. But strength in numbers. The more that we talk about it, the more that we put it out there, the more that we take those elements and now put them into practical application. AKA, we start doing the little things. We call it out. We teach our children better.
Yeah, we don't need to yell it at the top of our lungs. With the way the internet works and the way everyone can communicate, all it takes is a whisper from every person, and all of a sudden that whisper becomes a very loud roar.
And that is one of the beautiful elements, and again, one of the reasons I do the podcast, because it does give us the ability to share our perspective, share our collective elements, be it good, be it bad. We learn from it. We adapt.
I think Angela here has a point. Marriage is overrated for the most part.
Well, listen, to some degrees, marriage as a construct was based around old frameworks that, within the scope of how smaller communities worked, was pretty much how you maintained a framework.
I could see that, but modern day, it kind of shifts its focus a little bit, and I think a lot of people do two things in a relationship when they really shouldn't. And they either get married to try and fix it, or B, they have a kid to try and fix the relationship. Those two things are never good options.
But there's also reflective of those conditioned elements that most of us are taught to think within certain aspects. You go to school and you do this and you get a degree and you get a job and then you get married and you have kids and you go to soccer and you go to church and and you grow old and you die and listen, there's a case to be made. I'm not saying that marriage can't work, but the flip side again, and the redundant, hey, let's have the honest conversation. Marriage as a concept doesn't define, truthfully, certain elements in the dynamic of how people interact, be it men, be it women, be it non-specific gender, binary, whatever.
A lot of times marriage, I think, is a socio-economic function of our society. It's not...
Yeah, Angela says, believe in marriage, but not to gain wealth and solve mental problems. They're always, Angela says also that marriage gives, her mother seems to believe that marriage gives her the financial power. So yes, there are elements that, again, are conditioned that, women, and let's also be honest, some of this was a control mechanism. You create a framework structure where men make women dependent on us. It gives a framework of justification in aspects of sexuality, of obviously reproduction, the classic element, or at least the classic American element was, You know, the mom stays home, you know, barefoot and pregnant, raise the kids.
You're talking about the classic nuclear family.
Ah, yes, there it is.
That was, yet again, a socioeconomic construct made by the government.
Ooh.
Look it up.
Ooh. So, one more trivia for tonight because we're getting close to the end. And Monkey, I want you to pull out just some obscure little trivia out of your head for the final 3 points tonight. The final 3 points tonight will be a Monkey trivia.
Sheesh.
Yep, throw them under the bus. See, this is a father's prerogative. You know what I mean? One of the great things, again, doing this, I got my kid here. I can be like, yo, fucker, it's on you. Handle it. Yes.
Oh, man.
The pressure.
This is...
All these squares make a circle.
That's not nice. Oh, you gotta do me like this.
I gotta do you like that. How else are you gonna learn? It's my job as your father. Come on, man. Look at all these people out there in the internet. They're like, give us trivia. Help us. We need points. Monkey, save us. So, here comes the Monkey trivia question for the final 3 points of the evening.
Okay, I got one. D&D trivia.
Oh. Oh.
When it comes down to spellcasting, you have 3 components. Material, somatic, and one more. What's the third one?
Okay, so in spellcasting, you have 3.
In at least D&D 5th edition, people.
Okay. Okay, continue. 3.
You have 3 components to spellcasting. AKA, to cast a spell, you normally require these 3 components. Materials, which are, your components.
Right.
You have your somatic element, which is, hand gestures or gesture of a wand or your focus or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have... what?
What is the third? Interesting.
It is not.
Angela says intention.
Nope.
It is not.
Although I'll give you points for trying.
Well, not those kind of points.
Fair.
Shauna says, Diana says verbal. Wait, and Ash and Diana both. Jesus Christ, you two,
That's literally the same
You
time
both
stamp.
have timestamps again. 21:56:48. Diana, 21:56:48. All right, you two literally hit the enter key at the same time. So yeah, Diana and Ash, you're both getting 3 points.
Verbal, vocal, somatic, yeah.
Yep, those are the 3 components.
You need to be able to speak.
Yes, magic. That's pretty cool. That was a nice way. That's a great way to end the night. Listen, there will be more trivia tomorrow night. Shiya will be back 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the What the Fuck Wednesday. There'll be some free readings, a little bit of trivia, and then we will be back Friday night for New Year's Eve for a bunch more trivia and hang out for all the people who don't want to go anywhere, have nowhere to go, just want to get fucking weird. We're going to get swifty. Yes, so we will be back Friday night to hang out. Yes, Angela, What the Fuck Wednesday would be tomorrow. So listen, as always, again, thank you everybody for your support. Know that you are loved. We will again be back. And for everybody out there, I hope if we don't see you, that the end of the year is not crazy. I hope it's good for you, and let's all have a collective fuck please 2022. Just come on.
See, we're all going to be
we've
nice.
had enough.
We're not going to walk into 2022 claiming it's our year. We're going to be respectful, and we're going to walk in all nice.
Yeah, really, I'm definitely down with you. We're just like 2022. We're going to ease it in gently. We're going to caress it. We're going to extend the foreplay here, folks. We just got to bring 2022 in like
Gently.
And yeah, we will be back again.
Yeah.
No one touch any ash cream.
Exactly.
Nobody touch any. This is why we can't
thing.
have nice things, by the way. Okay? Please, let's not fuck it up, at least for a little while. But again, I love you all. Have a great night, and until next time, peace out.
Good night, everyone.